Welcome to the NSIC Spotlight, the voice of the NSIC student athletes, powered by gpac. gpac, growing people and companies. I'm your host, Nick Cornder, Assistant Commissioner at the Northern Sun. Today, we are joined by Kylie Hammer of the Wayne State women's basketball team. Kylie, thanks for joining us on the Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Kylie, you are a native of Wayne, America, a product of Wayne High School. What is it that drew you to Wayne State College?
So I grew up pretty much watching every Wayne State women's basketball game there was basically my whole life. So getting to play in the gym that started my love for basketball is pretty awesome. And a huge thing for me when looking at colleges was family and staying close. And there's not much closer than staying in your hometown. So that's nice.
Awesome. So born and raised in Wayne and continuing tradition. So that's always a fun attribute of living in a town with that small and being able to see all the college and support it and then be part of it. You're a senior this season. What are you majoring in and your career aspirations?
My major is elementary education with endorsements in ESL, reading and writing, and coaching. Once I graduate, I plan on getting my master's in counseling, just to be a guidance counselor in an elementary someday.
Excellent. While you're doing that, you're a member of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee at Wayne State. How'd you get involved in that, and what are some of the initiatives you're most proud of?
So to get involved, a member that is already on SAC and your coach will meet, and they kind of choose a player on your team that shows good leadership skills and good communication skills. And so that's kind of how I got there. And then an initiative that I'm proud of, I would say we do the Green Bandana Project. It was brought to the NSIC by Winona, and we got it a couple years ago. And it's basically to stop the stigma of mental health and to just create a bunch of allies throughout campus for people who are struggling with mental health to have someone to talk to and to feel safe on campus.
A great initiative that, like you said, Winona started and spread throughout the NSIC. And it's definitely something that's foremost for the student athletes these days. To the court, Wayne State's off to a 5-2 start, 2-1 in the NSIC. This past weekend, you picked up a 69-65 overtime win versus Southwest Minnesota State. So how did non-conference play and an overtime game a week prior help you prepare for conference play?
So a bunch of our games early on in this season have been super close. We've been super competitive. And that will translate into our conference. Our conference is known to be competitive every game. So I think that this will help us by giving us experience. We do have a younger team this year, so getting those tough situations in early on in the season will help us later on.
For your efforts, you were named NSIC Player of the Week, scoring 28 points on Thursday, 31 on Saturday. What was clicking in those games for you?
I knew going into this past weekend that those two games were going to be pretty tough. They're both very good teams. So I knew I had to just let the game come to me and be a good leader on the court. And my teammates all executed the game plan really well. So it allowed us all to be successful this weekend.
As a point guard, you're standing 5'6", but you're very aggressive going to the basket. You're able to get to the line as well as you lead the NSIC in free throws and free throws attempted. How would you describe your style of play?
So I am 5'6", so there's not much to me, but I rely heavily on my quickness and my speed. So I like to get downhill pretty much as fast as I can. But my point of emphasis this year has been to change my speed and change my direction. So Coach P and I have been working on that a lot this year, just focusing on change of speed, and that has opened things up for me.
So that kind of leads into the question of Coach Pollard and his coaching philosophy and how those kind of connect.
Yeah, he expects a lot of his players and is always looking to get 100% out of each and every one of us. A big thing for him is attitude and effort. And so those are like diving on loose balls, rebounding, talking on defense, even cheering on the bench. And those all kind of correlate with how I like to play basketball.
And your teammates, tell us about them and what makes this Wildcat team special this season.
We are really new this year. We have a lot of new people coming in this year. And so with that being a aspect, we have to focus on culture, and it hasn't really been a problem with our team. We seem to connect. A lot of our younger players like Abby Kopecki and Tate Norblade, Maya Fitzpatrick have been able to step in and execute really well. And this team in general just loves to hang out with each other. So I think our chemistry is translating onto the court.
A pair of pivotal games coming up this weekend as you host 2-1 Concordia St. Paul and 3-0 Minnesota State in South Division tilts. What's the average week look like leading up to a Friday-Saturday series?
Typically on Mondays, we'll watch our film from the week prior and kind of see what immediate things we need to fix. And so we'll focus on that on Monday, and then gradually throughout the week, we'll implement our scout for the next 2 games. And towards the end of the week, we are pretty much focusing everything towards the other team's tendencies and how we can counteract those.
And then Friday night, once you hit the court, especially against Concordia St. Paul, what do you feel are going to be the determining factors for success over the weekend?
I think a huge thing will be to execute our game plan, doing all the small things right, like out rebounding the other team. That's been our huge focus for us this year, and just playing our game and not letting how they play determine how we play. And if we do that, I think we'll come out with 2 wins this weekend.
All right, well, basketball this weekend and the following weekend, and then we have the break before we start into the home stretch here. So a lot of basketball ahead of us before the NSIC tournament. Make sure you follow the Wildcats and all NSIC action on the NSIC network and at northernsun.org. That'll wrap up this week's show. Thank you again to our sponsor, GPAC. Kylie, thanks and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you, Nick.